Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and if you're new, thank you for checking out my video today. So, here it is everyone, the most requested video of all time on this channel at the moment, the buried Easter egg tutorial that I've been telling you about and been meaning to get out to you guys for a long time. I spent an awful long time putting this together, editing it to make it fit, trying to make this as short as possible. Also created a load of helpful hints for you guys along the way to help you out on the trickier parts. So I will show you those when we get around to those bits, but hopefully they will help you out a lot. And also, if you need those parts, they will be in the description of the video, so you guys can go and get those for yourselves and actually have them physically rather than just pausing the video and looking at what I've put on the screen for you. Also, I will say that for one of the parts, which is the switch part in the maze, I'm going to have a picture that I will make which will have all the different combinations that you can possibly have in the maze. This will help you guys out so you can figure out like all the different ones that you still need to do rather than just guessing all the time. So I haven't fully created that image yet, but it will be created soon. So keep an eye out on the description of the video so you guys can go and get that, but it should be up very soon. Otherwise everything else is ready. Lastly, a few things before we begin. You need to have 4 people in order to do this Easter egg. You cannot do this Easter egg with just 1, 2 or 3. You have to have 4. You can start this Easter egg off by yourself if you wish. I wouldn't recommend it because if you start it off by yourself and others join in halfway through, their progress will not save, so when it comes to doing the end game, it won't count them as doing the Easter egg, but they'll still get the achievement and stuff for it, but they won't be able to do the end game. So I recommend you have 4 people from the very start. Just a recommendation, you don't have to, but you should. But it is a 4-man Easter egg, so be prepared for that. Lastly, one prerequisite you'll need before you can do this Easter egg is to build the nav card table. It's a very simple thing to do. All the parts are located just on the right hand side of the barn, as you can see the image right now. Just on the right there's a door that you can go through where you can pick up each part of the nav card table. Just go over there, pick up all the parts and then take them through the witch's house. Jump down the well, which will teleport you back to the start, and you can build your table over by the left hand side. There's a little building spot by a window and you can build it there. You need to have that done really before the Easter egg. Some people have managed to do it without it, some people haven't. It's kind of a unknown thing at the moment, and it still is unknown. I don't think it will ever be fully understood, but I recommend that you build it before you do the Easter egg, so do that just to make sure nothing goes wrong. Go and build it. Obviously if you built it already, then that's fine. Anyway, otherwise that's it. We're going to start off this Easter egg. So for the first few parts I did this bit on my own. Obviously you could do it with more people, that's fine. It's just it was easy for me to jump into a game on my own and do these few bits by myself so I could show you them in like a more fast way than if I had others with me at the same time. So also I get to look at each different part and it's easier. Anyway, so for the first step you're going to go down to the actual village area of Buried, and as we're doing the Richtofen Easter egg side of this tutorial, you're going to need to go and get 4 parts. You will see at the beginning here when I play it each of the different locations of all the parts that you can find and build. You will need to then take these over towards the saloon, and to the right of the saloon there'll be a little alleyway down the right hand side of it where a guillotine is placed. You just need to walk up to this guillotine and build each one of these parts onto that guillotine. So I'm going to let this play until we get the 4th part, and then I'll come back and describe the second step. So for now, this will show you where all the parts are located. I'll see you in a minute, guys.
I used to collect buttons. Nothing serious. Just a hobby.
Control of the tower above ground. It is more important than you can possibly imagine.
So, no pressure then?
The components necessary to build an energy conduit to power the tower can all be sourced from this location.
I'm gonna keep this, if no one else wants it.
Ah! Perfect! Or guillotine! Find and bring the parts to this location. Together we will thwart Maxis. Don't worry, we don't actually need to cut off his head. I was talking metaphorically. Also, decapitations can follow with temperaments.
Left this perfectly good booze here anyway. I'm gonna hold on to this for a while. I got no clue what I'm making here, but it sure ain't a cake. Maybe I'll need this later.
Okay, right, so those are the 4 parts that you will need. So before I let you hear a little quote from Richtofen, and yes, I am playing some of the quotes from Richtofen along the way in this tutorial, as I'm sure there'll be people that would like to hear what Richtofen has to say at each step. So obviously the person playing as Samuel will be the only person that can hear this, which in this case is me, so I'll be able to hear that. But anyway, just to quickly go over where those parts were, in case you don't know the map that well. The first part, which was the antenna, is over by the barn at the back. So if you come from spawn and just jump down the hole, and then you'll jump down another bit where there isn't a fence. And if you go to the very end, in front of you, there will be a little antenna that you can pick up to your right. Pick that up and then bring it over to the guillotine, which you should know the location of by now, to the right of the saloon, like I said. The second part is a little ball of wire, or like a wire roll anyway. To get to this, you can either go through the bank and underneath the ground. There's a little underground walkway, and when you come up from there, in a little room, there'll be the little wire over by the right hand side of the corner. Otherwise, you could come in via the bankway, like the top bankway, and jump across the roof to where Mule Kick is, and then come down the staircase, walk past the chalk drawings where the guns normally are, and then in that room to your left there will be the wire roll. The second part, if you go into the saloon, the third part, if you go into the saloon, and then you go up the staircase, and then when you go up the stairs, go to your right, jump over the gap, and then keep walking forward through the next door, and then just by the rail up the top you will see a satellite dish. Pick that up and put it on the guillotine. And then the final part, which is the little crystal, if you go through the saloon again, but this time turn to your left, keep going forward through the doorway, and then there'll be a little railway like track that you can go up. Well, it's a minecart track really, but anyway, you can go up that, and if you go up there and then turn left down the little cave area, and then you'll turn left again, and you'll see the crystals at the end of the hallway. I will warn you, there is a little trap there where if you keep running you will fall through the floor, so if you see some wooden planks, then make sure you jump over those. But once you get over those, pick up the crystal part and then bring it back to the guillotine, and then you will hear Richtofen talk. And I will play it quickly until we get to the next step. See you in a minute.
Incredible progress!
Okay, so he doesn't say a lot obviously, but anyway, the next part you have to have a paralyzer. The paralyzer is the new gun in Buried which slows down things, or that's its main effect against zombies and stuff anyway. But for this step you're going to need the paralyzer, and you'll need to locate these little orb ball things that are like on stands. There are 4 of them across the map. The first one that I'm going to show you is up here in the caves where you found the crystals earlier. So if you come up this cave way like before, go to the end, and instead of turning left this time like you did last time to get the crystals, turn to your right and you will see the little orb there. All you have to do is just keep shooting the paralyzer at the orb until it eventually makes a little ding noise and it's glowing red, as you will see here.
Just what they're looking for. Well, almost. They need a little more oomph before they will serve our needs.
So that was the first one. The second one, you can do these in any order, by the way. The second one is outside the saloon. As you can see, the saloon is to the right. If you just go past the saloon and to the right again, there will be a little orb just opposite or just outside the power building. As you can see in a second. Again, do the same thing. Charge up the little orb with the paralyzer.
Find the others! Repeat the process!
Okay, so the third location, you're going to need to open up to the other part of the village now, and you will see a church. If you go over towards the church and turn to your left, you will see where I am right now. There will be a big rock next to a building and the church, and there will be a little alleyway down the side there to the right, as you can see. Go down to the right there and there will be the other orb, and go and do the same thing as you did to the others on that one. Okay, so finally the last orb is on the other side of the map. So for this you're going to need to open up the witch house, go through the witch's house, obviously trying to avoid losing your points and stuff from the witches along the way. But as soon as you come out at the end of the witch's house, walk to your right to come out and then turn left and go forward as you normally do, and then straight away when you get out to the little walkway you can see in front of you right now, turn left and then keep going straight and turn left again, and this will be in the opposite side from where you came out, and there will be a little orb there as you will see here now, and this is the final orb that you need to hit with the paralyzer. So this is step 2, we're about to go on step 3, I'll let you guys listen.
There should be a little light floating around. Perhaps some poltergeist resided within.
Okay, so for the third step here, you need to go out of the witch's place, go back to the main village itself, and look around in the sky. There should be a little bluey white lantern floating around in the air, which you will need to hit down. I suggest using a grenade. You can shoot it with a ray gun or something as well, but I would use a grenade. Now, this is where I'm just going to warn people, when you knock this lantern down, make sure you do it in an open area. Do not knock down this lantern near any buildings with a really tight walkway, or just near a building basically. Try and not do it too near a building, because if you do, then it sometimes glitches out and it gets stuck in the building up top and you can't get to it. Even with a paralyzer, it sometimes is not possible to get to it because there's no interaction button available as it's stuck in the wall. So I recommend doing it out in the spot where I am right now. Just try and get it in an open area, throw a grenade at it or use a ray gun, either one, and knock it down from the sky, and then go and pick it up, and I will get on to what you need to do next.
The lantern.
This looks like a part of some kind.
Departed souls leave residual energy in their wake. This energy must be used to fuse the light.
Okay, so normally I would let Richtofen carry on talking, but in this case I want to describe this bit. So for the next part of this, you need to go into the witch's house and kill witches. So I haven't shown the whole part of me obviously killing the witches because that would take far too long. I have shown me killing a few of them just so you guys get an idea. All in all, I believe it's about 10 to 12 witches that you will need to kill in order to fully charge the lantern. It could be more, I'm not 100% sure. But you need to kill these witches. You can either knife them with the galva knuckles or you can shoot them with your gun. In this case I shot them with my gun because I didn't want to lose my points. But you could do either. And just hang around in the witch's house and keep shooting witches. Make sure they're near you when you shoot them. Obviously not too close, but make sure they're near you. And then you will hear a little ding noise when you collect a soul from a witch into the lantern. And you'll keep hearing this, and it'll start getting a lot louder when you get more souls into it. And then finally at the end, you will hear Richtofen say a quote. But otherwise, that's it for step 3. So I'm going to let you guys watch this bit with me killing the witches, and now I'll come back with the next step.
It's all so perfect! I advise you to keep it up! Oh, keep it up! I know I am. Listen carefully, my son. Now the lantern full of juicy cold juiciness. Oh! You must use the power to show you the way. So sorry, I'm being cryptic again. Basically, I'm telling you to go shine its light on stuff.
Okay. So for this next part, step 4, you're going to need to go back to the village area. So leave the witch's house like before, come back to the main village, and if you go to the rooftop, which is just outside opposite saloon or opposite the bank, then you will see on that roof there is a picture of a blue light lantern, or a symbol of it on the roof. You need to walk up to this and you need to interact with it, and then a load of writing will appear up on the wall. Now this is the part where people tend to get very confused and don't understand what they're doing. So it's okay, I've got you covered. I have something that will make your life 100 times more simple when it comes to doing this step. But first I'm just going to show you what happens when you interact with this symbol on the floor and then what appears on the wall. So I'll be there in a second.
Oh, this talk of energy is so vague, yeah?
Okay, so again I'm going to stop Richtofen here. So this is a part where I'm going to go in a lot of depth for you guys because it's confusing. I understand it's confusing. It takes time. So this is the different kind of language that most people probably wouldn't even have a clue about. You can decode it into proper English, which is what has been done, and I have made a whole entire diagram of all the different symbols that you see in front of you, and also the names to correspond to these symbols. Okay, so basically what you do for this next step is you have to have the galva knuckles, so make sure you have galva knuckles for this, or else you will not be able to do this. So buy your galva knuckles, and you'll be reading these symbols off the wall, which I'm going to go through in a sec for you, and then you'll be going back up to the tunnels where you were earlier when you picked up that crystal and you also used the paralyzer on the orb. You will see all around these tunnels now, all the way around, there will be these signs with names on them. What you will have to do is you will have to galva knuckle the corresponding signs which match the names on the wall, as you can see in front of you. So I don't expect anyone to be able to figure out what it means straight away. So what I've done for you guys is I've gone and created this for you. So basically what this is it's every single sign that is up in that little mine area above, with all the names written here which correspond to each symbol that you would normally see on the wall. So as you can see, if your symbol, for example, looks like a U shape with 3 red dots down the left hand side of it, then it will be this top one, which is known as dry gulcher shaft, and you would go and knife that one first. So you get the idea. You've got 3 of these on the wall. You just need to read what I've written here for you guys and created for you, and go and read on your wall, figure out which one of those on your wall corresponds to what I've made in this diagram, go and look for those names up in that mine shaft, go and galvanicle them in the right order, and then I will get on to the next part in a second. But just to make sure nobody's freaked out or anything, I'm going to be putting this in the description for you guys so you can go and get it for yourselves, because I understand how difficult this step is. I can understand that people don't want to just pause the video just to get this step, just for this image. So I'm going to put it in the description for you guys so you can go and get it straight away and keep it for yourselves. I'm going to leave it on the screen for a few seconds longer just in case anyone didn't get it straight away, and then I'm going to carry on with the next bit. Okay, that's long enough. Right, so for this next bit, what you're going to need to do is, once you've knifed or galvanuckled your signs that are related to your wall, this little blue-white orb will appear. You must have Vulture for this part, or else you will not be able to see this orb. So make sure you buy Vulture, or else you will not be able to do this. Once you have Vulture and you've obviously knifed all the signs with the galvanuckles, and this orb will spawn, it will go in a random direction. What you need to do is you need to walk into this orb, look around the map for this little blue-white light through the walls, figure out where that blue-white light is, and run into it again. Bear in mind you are on a timer while you are doing this, so you need to do it quickly. I recommend that if you have 4 people in your game while you're doing this, get them to stand in certain areas inside the village. It will only spawn above in the mine shaft and the main village, and also the bottom tunnel and the bank area. Make sure you have people standing in all these different areas in the village and above and below, so that they can run into the orbs if you don't think you can make it in enough time. Now bear in mind that this travelling of the orb is different every time. What I have in my game, which I'm about to show you of me running around with the orb, might not be the same for you. It might be, in which case you're very lucky, but it might not be. So don't copy mine precisely, because it might not be right. Just try and follow the orb as best as you can, and try and figure out which area it's going to be in. I can't really be that much more helpful in that regard, I'm afraid. It's the best I can say for you. I do recommend the person with a paralyzer is the one that chases around the orb, though, because they can quickly get to the next spot by just jumping up in the air and, paralyzing to the orb. But if you're doing it single player like I am here, try and know your way around and use a paralyzer, and make sure you have a paralyzer with you, because it makes a huge difference. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this now, me galvanuckling the signs and following the orb, and I'm going to come back for the next part, alright?
It's best not to worry about it. Just think of the big ones, positive or negative, north or south, light or dark, good or evil. best not to dwell on what it really is. It will make you so sad.
Damn it! I just banged my stupid head on a stupid invisible wall!
Okay, so before I talk about the next step, I have to stress this across. The amount of times I've seen people do this Easter egg, and I play with them as well, and they've done this wisp part, and when it gets to the guillotine, they haven't actually run up to that guillotine where that orb still is, and actually hit it there, and failed, is incredible. You must, at the end of this, when you've got that little white orb all around the map to this guillotine, when it's there in front of the guillotine, you must run into it in order for it to be fully done, or else it will reset and you will have to do the previous step that we just done again. So please run into the orb by the guillotine, or else you will not complete it and you'll have to do it again. But that was just a little example of a little route that the orb can take. Like I said, it's different for different signs, so just be prepared for that. But that's just one route. So for this next step, what you need to do is, once you have the orb, like you can see for me on the actual guillotine, you're going to have to wait for zombies to run along to this orb. So what it will do is this orb will shoot some white bluey light on certain zombies. When these zombies have this white bluey light on them, you must run up to them and kill them. Kill them near the guillotine, and then it will put up there, it will put a little bluey white orb onto the little crystal you can see at the back. You need to do this 5 times in total, and then I'll come back and describe the next step. So let's show you this bit.
No! I don't want this energy! Some of its energy!
You stinks! Oh wait!
So, to make things faster in this tutorial, I did skip most of the little bits of killing zombies because that takes too long. But as you can see there are 5 little bluey orbs on the crystal. Once you've killed those 5 zombies on the bluey orb, you've done it and you're all set. Now from this next point onwards, you must have 4 players. You cannot carry on without 4 players. It's not possible, because for this next bit, you're going to need to go back in time to round infinity to find a switch on your dead body, or the character's dead bodies. And it will not work without 4 players. So make sure you have 3 other people with you, or whatever number you're playing with at the moment. Just make sure you have 4 people. Okay, so for the next part, you're going to need the time bomb. So make sure you go to the box and pick up the time bomb. Only one person has to have this. Obviously, as soon as someone gets it, you're fine. So what you will need to do is you need to have all 4 players come up to this little guillotine, sit around it, make sure you are near this guillotine or else this won't work. The person with the time bomb throws their time bomb onto the guillotine and then activates the time bomb, and it will go into a black and white round infinity, and you will need to run around the village area of the map and find your dead body in order to find a switch. Now this is quite difficult, this bit, because it's not easy to find all the dead bodies. What I've done in this part that you will see in a minute is I've done a very, very brief of my knowledge anyway, because I don't know every single spawn point for a body corpse in round infinity, but I know most of the spawn points, and I've done a quick overview of all the different spots. I'm going to pause it at each point and show with my mouse on the screen where each part, where each body will be located on the ground. Otherwise you won't have a clue. So I'm going to do that and try and make it as simple as I possibly can for you. I apologise if I miss a body location. I don't know all of them. From what I played of this, I only know certain body locations, and these are the ones that I know about. I might have them all, I might not. But if I miss one, then I'm sorry about that, and I'm sure somebody else can let you know in the comments of the video. Otherwise, I've done my best for this bit. But when you're in round infinity and you're running around for this switch, you need to look for your dead body on the floor, or anybody else, like Marlton or Misty, whatever. Just find their dead bodies, search them, and then one of them will have a switch. Now, when you're in round infinity, it is basically impossible to kill zombies. They will also keep spawning, so don't bother trying to kill them. Just run past them. Just run completely past them. Avoid them. Try not to get caught, because you will die and you will lose your stuff, and you don't want that to happen. But the most important part is when you find the switch, the person who finds that switch must not die in round infinity. Because if they die in round infinity, whenever I've done this Easter egg in the past and that happens, it will glitch out and you will lose that switch forever. It will be gone and you will have to restart the Easter egg all over again. Do not lose the switch. The person with that switch must stay alive. If you have monkey bombs or anything, throw them. Make sure that person who finds that switch is alive, or else things will go wrong. So once you've done that, and I'm going to show you the body parts now, obviously, then you will come back to normal time and you will be building the switch that you just picked up on the guillotine, which I'll get to in a minute. But for now, we're going to go into round infinity and I'm going to go through each of the body locations for you guys that I know of. So let's go on with it.
I think it's me.
Oh, I'm so exhausted after all that excitement. Do me a favor, be a pal and find the switch to turn it on. Okay, Samuel, I don't want you to get upset or worried, but it seems that somewhere along the way, we accidentally tore a teensy-weensy hole in the fabric of time and space. Like I said, it's nothing to worry about, but you need to cross your own timeline in order to put things right. Just detonate a time bomb near the guillotine, and everything will be hunky-dory.
Okay, so like I said, make sure all 4 players are near the guillotine. As you can see, this is the sort of stance that most of the players should be in. You can have somebody in front of the guillotine as well, but obviously we didn't. The person with the time bombs, which in this case was me, needs to throw the time bomb onto the guillotine's little platform at the back there, you can see. And then once it's on there, detonate it and you will go into round infinity. And now I'm going to show you where all the different corpse locations can possibly be.
Think the box sold me a dud.
Welcome to your future. Now hurry and find the switch. Ironically enough, we don't...
Okay, so as you can see, that is actually one of the spawn points that we had, and in this case it's Marlton. This is one of the spawn points for the corpses. It could be any corpse, by the way, not just Marlton, just be aware of that. But that's one of the spawn points. Another spawn point can just be here to the left. Obviously you won't see it because we didn't have a corpse here, but it can be literally just there, right inside, so keep an eye out for that. Another spawn point could be just here on the right, just outside the spot where you can get the chalks for the guns, just here. And as you can see, there it is, and that's Russman that we have there. But like I said, it can be anybody that can be there. Right, another one is here on the floor. As you can see, we have Samuel here. I am not 100% sure about this. I'm only going on this one via somebody in the past who told me they saw one of the corpse locations here, so I don't know 100% whether this is correct or not, but apparently one of the corpses can spawn right here on the right, just in this little alleyway. I don't know if that's correct or not, so don't be 100% sure about that. It's just what I heard in the past, but apparently there is one here on the right. There is one over here on the floor that you will normally see near the white arrow. There can sometimes be one around this area. I've seen one around here before, but it's sort of just randomly around here. There's no specific spot. But if you just go around this part of the water fountain and over here by the rocks, there will be a corpse there if you have it there in your game. There is another one in the church, normally around there on the wall on the left, sometimes on the floor here. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but I've been told that apparently there is a corpse here sometimes in the infinity mode. I didn't go this way, but if you go to the right here like we did before towards that orb that we shot earlier with the paralyzer, in that little alleyway you will sometimes find a corpse there. There can sometimes be a corpse around here in the courthouse area. There can also be a corpse around here on the right, normally in this little alleyway. There can also be a corpse down here on the floor where these two dead zombies are. And I believe, to my knowledge, there's one more corpse which I again didn't show in this, which is over by where Leroy is normally locked up. There's a corpse that can sometimes be around that area. But these are all the ones that I know of, guys. I don't know if there are any others. If there are, then I'm sure people can let you know in the comments of the video. And I will let you know if anyone lets me know, like there's another corpse location, then I will let you know. These are the ones that I know of. I have absolutely no idea if there are any corpses that spawn up top here by Speed Coder, or if there are any in the bank, or down in the bank's little ground area or anything like that. I don't know. So if anybody else knows about that, that would be really appreciated if you could let everyone else know in the comments of the video. But that's all the spots that I've seen in my games and that I've been told about. So now I'm just going to show you everyone going up to a corpse and searching it, and what happens when you find a switch. Okay, so that's what happens when you find a switch, and this is actually the spot that I told you about earlier by the church, which I didn't actually go into when I was in the theatre mode camera there, but down on the ground there is a body, and that's where we found our switch. And when you get the switch also, you will see a little icon at the bottom of your screen on the right, which shows like a power switch icon. So at this point, like I said, make sure you don't die when you have the switch. If you do, it will most likely glitch out. So stay alive with the switch and you will see what to do afterwards. Okay, so once you come back from the round infinite mode, so again it's a timed thing, the round infinite mode, you will have your switch, and the person with the switch comes over to the guillotine and just interacts with it and builds the switch onto the guillotine. One last thing about this bit when it comes to finding the dead bodies, don't copy the exact spots that I had in my game, because they probably won't be the same for you. The spawn locations of the corpses are random per game, I'm afraid I can't be much more help than that in that regard. I've given you all the spawn locations that I know of. I mean, if there are others, I'm sure people will let you know, but those are the spots that I know about, and they are random per game. If you get one like mine, then you're lucky, but believe me, they are random, so just be prepared about that. But once you build this switch in here, you'll be moving on to the next step, which will be going through the witch's house into the back of the maze to do the switch part, which I'll be getting onto in a sec.
Aren't there any other angles you can fight?
Axis does this all the time. You're not the first. He will push you as far as he can, following his own ridiculous rules, only to cast you aside like used disuse. I won't do that to you, Samuel Stuhlinger. I like you too much. Now be a good boy and run along to the maze.
Okay, so when you're in the maze, I advise only having 2 or 3 people in the maze. This is where it gets a little challenging, this part of the Easter egg. So the doors themselves are going to be around in the maze, but instead of them just being the normal green doors that you see, this time they will have switches on them. There will be different coloured switches around on the doors. Not every door will have a switch. Some will, some won't. There's normally 3 colours, which is the red, green and blue. And yellow, sorry, I forgot about yellow. Four colours. And you need to pull them down, because it will say off and on. You will need to pull them down in the correct order. Now, the annoying thing about this step is it's very random. So, when you go in here and you pull them down, supposedly you're meant to see a little spark come from the switch to show that you've done it in the right order. Some people have seen this, some people haven't. I've been one of the people that hasn't seen the spark come from the switches when they're pulled down. So I don't know how accurate that really is, the sparking thing, but it may just be a glitch when I played the Easter egg before. But I'm going to say don't worry about the spark. Normally people would say when you see the spark, that's the correct order for that specific switch. But as I never saw it with mine, I'm going to say just ignore the spark. I mean, if you get it, then you could do what people say, which is, alright, that's the correct switch for that specific spot in the order. But for me, I didn't see that, so I'm just going to say do it and you will hopefully get the right one. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to have a little list in the description for you guys to go and get, and also read from the description, which will give you every single possible output for these switches. So obviously you've got the red, green, yellow and blue, and you're going to be inputting this in a specific order for your game. Now this is random per game, so again you're going to just have to hope for the best. If you get one like we did, then you're lucky, but I doubt you will. And it's random per game, so I'll give you all the different outputs that you can possibly get very soon in the description of the video for you guys. Lastly, before I carry on, if you get the order wrong and it doesn't work first time, everybody that is in the maze must leave the maze via the teleporting water fountain area. Just everybody needs to jump into that and go back to the starting area and come back down and then come back into the maze again, so that the maze can reset, or else the maze will not reset and you will just be stuck with the same output, which is wrong. So make sure everybody leaves the maze so that the maze can reset and you can go and try your switches again. I will say that when it resets, the actual output that you have in your game will not change. So the locations of the doors might change, but the actual output that the game has specifically given you to, actually go and input in will not change. That will be the same. Just the locations of doors might change, so just be prepared for that. It's a bit iffy. But anyway, this bit's not the easiest bit in the world. Like I said, I recommend 2 people in the maze. That's what we had. Nice and simple. You don't have to worry about people leaving then. Or you could just have 1 person in the maze. It doesn't really matter. I do recommend somebody with a paralyzer does this because it's very fast for them to jump around the place and get to the switches. But anyway, I'm going to show you all the different what the switches look like on the doors. So you will see that now quickly before, and then I'm going to show you the output that we had when we hit the switches on the doors. Once you've done that, then you will need to go back to the village again where the first water fountain is, and you will be on to the last step, which will be the target shooting. But before that, you got to do the maze, so I'm going to show you the maze first, and then I'll come back at the target shooting bit. Okay, so as you could see, this is the last step of the Easter egg for Buried in Richtofen's part. You could see there that there was a fountain that we were at. Now, this is a very, very challenging step of the Easter egg. So there's going to be 4 different locations where targets are going to pop up. And they're going to pop up in different areas which you need to shoot. Now, each player needs to be in their specific location in order to shoot the targets, obviously. So there is one thing that I really recommend to everybody when it comes to doing this Easter egg, and I really, really recommend this. Give it a few tries, as in sit there, don't bother shooting or wasting ammo, just get a person to throw a coin into the fountain. Each person's in their location that they've chosen, and they watch the targets. Just watch where each target comes up, where it pops up. Try and memorize this, because if you can memorize these spots where they pop up, then you'll be able to get this right, and you'll be able to shoot the targets, and you'll be able to finish the Easter egg. This is a very, very challenging part of the Easter egg, this last bit. Incredibly difficult. It took us a long time to figure out all the locations, like where they spawn and stuff. And I know some of us actually did a switch between locations. I actually switched with one of my team members who used to be where I was, which was outside the candy shop. And I used to be in the saloon, but instead we switched around so that I was outside the candy shop and he was in the saloon. But the 4 locations are just outside the witch's house on the left hand side, the candy shop just outside there around on the rock and the courtroom stuff, and then there's one in the saloon, and that's probably the second easiest one. And then there's also one over by where Leroy's prison is, and well, yeah, just around there by Jug and stuff. That's probably the easiest one, in my opinion. Then the saloon, then probably the candy shop area, then the witch's house. I mean, it's difficult to say between the last two because they are both pretty difficult, but you know, I'm just giving you guys some advice in case some of you aren't that great with, shooting targets in enough time. So you're going to have to shoot them all. If you miss one, you will fail and you will have to do it again. I recommend for this that you have a PDW because it's one of the best guns ever for ammo. It's also one of the best guns for reloading quickly. So I recommend that you have speed cola and a PDW. You must, in my opinion, have speed cola for this step. I don't know anyone that's done this without speed cola. I don't know if you can even do it without speed cola. But I recommend you have speed cola. Okay, so before I show every single one of us shooting at targets, which you will see in a minute, I'm going to play clips of each area, each spawn area, and show you precisely all the locations where the little signs that pop up like spawn, where you can shoot them. So I'm going to show you that now. There will be 4 of them, and then we're going to get onto the part where we shoot them, which I'll come back just before that. Okay, so those are all the different spawn locations that you can go to in order to shoot targets. That was just a brief showing for you guys to show where they all spawn, so that you can pause the video and try and figure it out for yourselves by watching the video, because I know how helpful it is to see where they all spawn. Believe me, I've done this enough times to know how helpful it is to actually watch something which tells you where they are. So that was just showing you guys briefly where they all were. I'm now going to show you a clip of each one of us shooting the targets. Now, some of us I will recommend you don't do quite what we did. In particular, you'll see a part where one of the teammates actually jumped off the ledge in the saloon by accident, and I recommend you don't do that. But obviously, just watch how we do things and try and copy us in some sort of sense, as we could figure out precisely where each spot was. Try and copy where we stand, because where we stand is the best spot you can stand for this part. Also, make sure you have a PDW. Like I said, it doesn't have to be Pack-a-Punch. I didn't have a Pack-a-Punch one, but you can if you want. And make sure you have speed coder. So I'm going to go through this bit quickly and show you guys us shooting all the targets. Then I'm going to come back at the last part and go through the last few bits at the end. But otherwise, I'm going to show you this quickly and I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so that was just showing you us doing that step. As you can see, some of us made a few pretty big errors, but we still managed to do it. So God knows how we managed to do it, to be honest, in that sense, because some of us really did make some big errors. But anyway, we managed to do it. So that was just showing you guys what we basically did. So just to go through who each person was at each spot. I was at the candy shop area. I was obviously before at the saloon, but I ended up being at the candy shop area. Beside me to the right was Born Phoenix, who was doing the witch's house. Legit Skills was doing the saloon. And finally, Flame Pie Man was doing the Leroy Cell Juggernog spot. So that is just going through all of that. So the last thing that you will hopefully see, in my case I didn't get to see it sadly, but there'll be a little box in the courthouse area that you can see. Now, I'm going to go through what all this means because some people probably don't have a clue. Right, so the top lights, the top little white lights, are nav cards. So this is why I said you should build the table at the beginning in order for it to save your Easter egg progress. I would do it. But at the top are these little white lights. What you need to do is go into transit, diarise and buried, build the nav card tables and put the nav cards into each table. And then those lights will turn on and become white once you do this. Then underneath that you can see these other little button like things with lights on them. So this shows each member of your team who's in the game what Easter eggs they've completed and whose side they've done them on. So if you have blue, then you have done Richtofen's. If you have red, you've done Maxis's side. So as you can see, the top person has done blue, and they've got 3 of them, and that was me, because I did Richtofen side on every single map, and buried was my last one. You can see that at the bottom as well, there were 2 little blue lights for Born Phoenix, who did Transit and Diarise Easter egg, with me for Richtofen, and then there's the other 2 in the middle, who hadn't actually done the Transit or Diarise one yet, but when we did Buried for this, guys, unfortunately it did glitch out for them. And yes, they got the achievement and stuff, but sadly it didn't give them the lights that they needed in order to show that they completed Buried's Easter egg, which was a shame, and I don't know why it happened, but it did. And we didn't really want to do it again because we'd spent so long trying to do it in the first place. But sadly they didn't get a blue light, so at the moment this was on the Xbox. I've still got this box with just me with the blue lights sitting there waiting for the button to be pressed. But anyway, you have to have all 4 players in your game have all the lights turned on, and they have to be the same Easter eggs. If you've got anyone that's done a Maxis one when you've all done Richtofens, they need to go and redo that and make it a Richtofen one, because you cannot push this button if anything like that is wrong. But if everyone has either Richtofen or Maxis, in this case it's a Richtofen Easter egg, so if everyone has Richtofen's stuff done and all those lights are blue, the little door will open and there will be a big massive red button which says press or something like that, and then if you push that you will get the ending for the specific character, and as we're doing Richtofen's you will get Richtofen's ending, which I won't spoil or anything, so there you go. Obviously you should probably know by now as Richtofen's 2 has been out for a while. But yeah, that is basically the end of the buried Easter egg once you've done that. So, lastly, before I show you something pretty cool that happens after you finish the Easter egg, I want to thank Born Phoenix, Legit Skills, and Flame Pie Man for doing this with me, even though it was a long time ago now. I want to thank them for doing it with me. I mean, without them, I wouldn't have been able to actually complete this Easter egg and get it to you guys in the first place. So, I have to say a big, huge thank you to them, and they were great throughout the Easter egg, despite all the pain and sorrow we went through. Actually, we all sat there and we did a great job, and we kept with it, and we didn't give up at any point. So yes, I have to thank them all for that. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. So lastly, before I show the really cool thing off, I wanted to say anybody that's out there that needs help with any of the Easter eggs in Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 3 now on the Xbox One, PS4, Xbox 360, PS3 and PC, then feel free to leave your name in the comments section below and put what console you're on, please, or else people won't know. Put the console and then put your like ID name next to it as well, so people can add you, even I can add you, and then we can go and do the Easter eggs on whatever console you're on, and then we could get some teams going and helping each other out. I would very happily like to do some Easter eggs with a few other people. So things that I'd love to do are in particular the Black Ops 3 Easter eggs I would really like to do, especially now that I have a PS4. I would quite like to do quite a lot of the Easter eggs on that, including the new one, JokerAlex. Black Ops 1, I've done all of those, but I'm happy to do them again with anybody else. I still need to do some of them on the PS3, so I really appreciate that. In particular, Shangri-La for me. And also, Black Ops 2, I need to do on the PC and the PS3. I need to do the Easter eggs on that, and also if anyone has done all the Richtofen side Easter eggs, then I really appreciate it if you could join me on the Xbox so I can push the finish button to get the ending properly out for everyone else on the channel instead of it just sitting there with all the lights and that all lit up but without anybody else, so I can't open the damn thing. So if anyone else wants to do that, I really appreciate that. But like I said, get your names in the comments section and stuff and get a few teams going. Obviously if you want to play with me, I'm more than happy to play with you. I will most likely say yes and arrange a date and stuff to do the Easter eggs. But yeah, let me know. And if you specifically want to play with me in the comment section, I recommend that you actually put my name next to you somewhere when you say like what your ID is and stuff. Put my name saying like, yes, I want to play with you specifically. The good thing, I suppose, if you play with me, I do know everything about basically all of the Easter eggs, including Grog Crovey now. I know a lot about that. I know all the steps for each of them. I know what to do. I know the easiest routes for most of them and so on as well. So I can really help you guys out quite a bit. But there you go. Otherwise, before I show you the last cool thing, I said that I would get you guys that output sequence code stuff for the maze bit. I will get you that as soon as I possibly can. You're going to have to give me some time with that. Otherwise, I'm going to show you this last cool bit, which will happen on the main menu when you finish the Easter egg. If you don't push the button, you will see this: a transit, die rise, and buried. But I'm going to show you the buried one. And basically, on the main menu screen, when you normally go to the buried bit, there will be a blue light with electricity coming out of the logo now, and a little noise. So I'll let you hear that now, and I'll turn the volume up for it. And that's it. So there you go. And yes, I always use FreeMaker in case anyone wonders. FreeMaker is great, guys. It's a very useful piece of software. I do recommend it, especially if you're a YouTuber. It helps so much to make files smaller, to edit things. It's just incredibly easy to do. It's a great program. Seriously, go and get it. But otherwise, I will quickly go back just to show you guys what that actually looks like. Hang on. Right. There you go. So, there we go. Right, so yes, that is what it looks like. As you can see, the die rise one's up there as well. And it's basically a big blue orb with lightning coming out of it. And that proves that you've done the Richtofen inside the Easter egg. And if you've done Max's side, then obviously it will be red and it will have red lightning coming out of it. But otherwise, that's it. So that was a little cool thing I wanted to show you guys at the end. Otherwise, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys found it useful. I hope I went in enough depth for you. I tried my absolute best to go in as in depth as I possibly could for this Easter egg. I apologise if this video is incredibly long. I was trying to make it as short as I possibly could, but obviously if you go in a lot of depth like I do, then it tends to make them a lot longer, but obviously I prefer going on a lot more depth so that you guys understand it more than just quickly skimming over things so that you don't know what you're doing. I prefer to get things specific and right, and I know you guys appreciate that as well. So sorry if it's really long, and if you do skip parts, I appreciate that. That's fine. But otherwise, that's it. Like I said, if you want to do Easter eggs with me, please let me know. I will most likely say yes, and I'll set up a date and stuff for doing it. Again, consoles, whatever console is fine. Otherwise, that's it for the video. So if you guys could please leave a like, I really appreciate it, especially for something like this, because this video takes an awful long time to edit and muck around with and actually just put together for you guys. It took an incredibly long time to make this video. I mean, it really was probably one of the most incredibly long to make videos I've ever actually had to do on my channel. So I really would appreciate it if you guys could give it a lot of support and give it some likes and things like that. Obviously I'm not forcing you to do it, but I really appreciate that. If you guys found it helpful, then let me know. If you get stuck at any point or you don't understand anything, then say in the comments section and I will message you back as quickly as I can and let you know and try and help you out. Otherwise, if you're new and you like this video, then please check out the rest of my channel for the other videos I do of other tutorials and gameplays and things like that. And if you like the content that I do, then feel free to subscribe to keep up to date with the latest videos that I'll bring out for you guys. Otherwise, that's it. I hope you guys found this useful. Finally here, as you can see, the berry tutorial that has been delayed for so long is finally out for you guys. I'm glad it's out. I'm glad you guys get it now. I know people will find this useful. I know diaries people found quite useful. So I hope this will be the same. If you have any problems, like I said, please do not be afraid to let me know at all. I will help you out as best I can. Otherwise, that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.